Welcome to Twisted Metal. I'm Fiendly.
I am looking for better representation for my LP needs.
Who could blame you?
I'm Kabim Dragoon.
And I'm Rutkovsky.
And we are here to enjoy the most recent Twisted Metal game. A reboot of the classic series that had been going for, 27 years at that point?
I think they talked about it back in Sumerian clay tablets at one point.
Yep. There's nothing older than Twisted Metal, and there's nothing newer in that series than Twisted Metal. That's the title. I didn't have anything else to add to that. So, we are going to take a look at this game, which has some glaring, horrific problems. And I do not fully endorse many of them.
Soundtrack's pretty good.
Yeah, it also has some excellent things that I'm very glad to be showing off, but we're going to start by talking about the problems, because you may just want to turn this video off right now. This video alone is going to feature horrible graphic on-screen murder.
Oh boy, howdy, yes.
It's going to get much worse in future videos. This is the most disgusting, unpleasant game I've ever played. And I've played Manhunt, The Punisher, The Darkness. This is much worse than all of those. So, if you have any sensitivity to those sorts of things, I would say just skip the cutscenes and miss about half the video. But also, this has the most extreme sensory overload and bombast of any game I've ever played.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, if you get any sort of motion sickness, if you have any epilepsy, that is probably going to cause some very serious problems for you. This might be very hard to watch. Please continue with extreme caution.
It's pretty much content warning, the game.
Yes, exactly.
And if you don't like cats, just fuck off now, because I don't want anything to do with you.
That is unrelated, but agreed upon. Yes.
So now that the three people who are still left are watching...
Yes, there will be something that I've never done with a Let's Play before. I will be doing cut commentary versions where we do not talk over the cutscenes because we are going to show these cutscenes exactly zero respect. We'll be talking to them the entire time. So if you actually want to see the cutscenes,
get help.
You can watch the alternate version. Also, yeah, this Let's Play might not be for you, but I'm going to provide the option. I strongly advise against taking that option, but it is there. And finally, if you do want to see this game, it is a reboot in the same sort of way that the Splatterhouse remake is a reboot, in that it is not related to the previous games in any way, but it is reverential of the previous games and will reference them constantly.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, if you want to get all those references, they're actually kind of cool. And you may want to go back and look at my Let's Plays of the preceding Twisted Metal games, because it is not going to reference any of the ones that I have not Let's Played yet. And none of that will really come into play until after this first video, so you'll have plenty of time to catch up if you do want to get those references. So with that, I believe we are ready to begin the nightmare.
Ba-da-bum.
So there's his mug, right in our face.
Yeah.
I have to admit, I genuinely like this bit of music here.
Yeah, the music is excellent, pretty much uniformly.
Next call. What's on your mind tonight, Father? Says here you're a preacher of some kind or something.
Time manipulation, mind reading. Oh, he has many powers. Why, he can even raise the dead. And once spawned, they are forever loyal to Calypso. But this year, I will bring him to his
Listen. Every year this time, I got people calling in with his bull.
No! You must believe Calypso is the reason for all the violence. He is the devil.
I do agree with him on one thing. It's bad out there, folks. Real bad. But I got a solution. Stay in tonight and lock your doors.
Boss, that her? We find her?
No, just more trash on the side of the road. Looks like Calypso's got himself another driver for this year's contest. She was the one. She was the only one. There have been so many people I've killed over the years. But her, she was the only one who ever escaped. She was the one that got away. I don't blame myself. They were my first murders. Oh, boys and girls, she didn't make it easy. I had saved her for last. And I toyed with her. I teased her. Oh, she was delightful. She was a fighter. That stupid bitch. She actually hurt me. That's how she managed to escape. That. And that damned picture. How many years has that been? And I still think about her. I still crave her screams and her death. She needs to be gutted. Then I'll shove her in my icebox and we'll be together forever. I just have to win Calypso's stupid little contest, and any prize I ask for will be mine. Calypso. They say he has many powers. When I win, he's going to send me where she's been hiding all these years. And this time, I'm going to finish what I started. This time, I'm going to make her bleed.
The art style is not horrible in the game's defense.
Yeah, and what they reference the most is Twisted Metal Black,
Yeah.
by far.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, because they're trying to out-edge it.
Yeah. And of course, the Saw movies had been out at this point, so you've got that obviously giving an extra edge to it. No pun intended.
Yep. And, yeah, this is the garage. We get to choose 3 cars for every level we play. That's exciting.
Wow.
Most of them are bad. But I'm going to show them all off because, you know, I'm a less player. I'm going to make this a nightmare for myself. Axel looks particularly absurd in this game.
Yeah, something really goofy about Sweet Tooth in the middle of Axel. Just really dumb for some reason.
Yeah, that's the only time Sweet Tooth's on his own, though. Every other time he's got gang members with him.
Yeah. Doesn't he like pull his arm out one of the holes to fire some of his weapons as well when he's using Axel?
Yeah, maybe. I'll have to pay more attention to Axel's animations.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that and just thinking it was the dumbest thing.
It's pretty dumb. Now we get to enjoy the first level, which has a little intro cutscene from Calypso, because there aren't enough cutscenes in this game.
What is this, a visual novel?
Sweet Tooth. My name is Calypso. Welcome to my contest. Welcome to Twisted Metal. This is Sun Springs, California, your first battleground. Quaint, all-American, peaceful, destructible. To win and advance to the next event, simply destroy all other contestants. The green wrench on your radar will guide you to your garage. When death is near, I suggest you use it. Or find one of my active health trucks for full regeneration. Good luck, Sweet Tooth. Survive this, and you're one step closer to your dream.
Yeah, and as Sweet Tooth, we're going to be driving over people's houses.
Yep.
Here it comes.
Yeah, get that into the garage.
Right over someone's house.
Well, I mean, why fuck around if you don't have to, you know?
Yep. This is pretty much an exact remake of the Suburbs level in Twisted Metal Black. That's even what the lightning in the background is for. Like, the lightning was the environmental attack in that level. So.
Yeah. I vaguely remember the sky was a lot darker in that. Or am I misremembering?
Yeah, the overall sky was kind of like this greenish color that we see here, but it did have that pitch black storm raging in the background.
Yeah, it's probably what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. Many of the same landmarks as well.
I remember that whole, oh yeah, let's go and ride your ass the entire game. The strategy of the AI.
Yeah, but check out how badass this is. You don't hit buttons, you pound them.
Yeah, and this game has one of the dumbest... I'm not much of a driving game player, but press the brake button twice to drive to go in the reverse. What? Why not just hold it? No, you have to tap it twice. It makes no sense.
Suppose that's rather than like going stop, 2, 3 reverse.
I don't know of any other
back.
game that does it that way.
Yeah. I use the right analog stick to reverse when I'm playing.
And I can only imagine that was their reasoning for doing something like that, but just more immediacy. Because I remember in the lead up to this coming out, and with Black as well, they were talking about how much more skill-based the game was going to be.
We both laughed at that. That tells you everything, really.
Yeah. I mean, there were skills required, just maybe not the good kind like what you'd want.
So the controls are bad, as we've said. Also, the enemies are insanely aggressive.
Even for a Twisted Metal game.
Yeah, and the kind of attacks they have will knock you off course, throw off your aiming, completely grab you, and like move your character in places you do not want to go. You basically do not have control of this game like 95% of the time.
The thing I remember using Sweet Tooth was every enemy in the game would be able to hit you with the
here
freeze.
comes one.
Oh.
Yep. I'm grabbed, I can't move.
Every enemy in the game would be able to hit you with freeze the very second you used your transformation, completely wasting it for like the next 3 minutes.
Yeah.
We just destroyed Bub's concession stand. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I often revert to using Outlaw just because, hey, at least I don't have the aim with that special.
Yeah.
I just surrendered.
But they'll still freeze you in the middle of the special and make you waste most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because the specials are really cool. I'm a robot right now.
Yeah, my wife
This isn't even the special. The special is throwing your head, but in order to throw your head, you have to turn into a robot.
My wife asked what kind of a game I would be part of the video, and I explained Sweet Tooth, the main character, and how his ice cream truck works, and she didn't believe me. She just, nope, you're just making stuff up now to confuse me.
Twisted Metal. It makes sense in context, I swear.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the robot still controls like a car, in that you have to hold the accelerate button to move forward and the reverse to move backwards. Like, you can't just move like a standing human.
Yeah.
So that makes it very, very awkward.
And because the game is so loud, it's not even good as a, let's have a bunch of beer, smoke some weed and chill game.
Yeah.
It's too intensive for that.
Yep.
I remember basically having to turn the sound effects down to like 2, 3, just so I could, enjoy the music or not have my eardrums be battered.
Yeah, I should probably do that. Knock the explosions down a bit so that we can hear Dragula.
Because at this point it's a contractual obligation for a Twisted Metal song, or for one of your LPs.
Yeah, every time I do one of these Twisted Metal threads, someone comes in and says, everyone knows the best Twisted Metal is the one that plays Dragula. They're, of course, referring to Twisted Metal 4, but they're actually talking about Twisted Metal 2012.
Never played 3 or 4, and I'm perfectly okay with that.
No, 4 was the best because it had the Christmas version of More Human Than Human, which I unironically loved.
Actually, it didn't. That was Twisted Metal 3.
Oh, was it? Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Kind of, the last couple just sort of, before Black, all kind of blurred into each other, except for Small Brawl for obvious reasons.
Twisted Metal 4 was directed by the guy who also tried to direct the Splatterhouse remake, but fucked it all up so bad that he got fired and his company dissolved.
Wow. And I mean, Splatterhouse was no great shakes as a game. There was a lot to like about it, but the direction, maybe not.
Well, it was because of him. He made the game unplayable, and 4 people had to make it playable in 3 months.
Yeah. I
On
think
their second game they ever made.
I think we talked about that back in the day.
What are you doing here?
Probably.
Do you have a gambling problem, or what happened there?
I wanted to show off in the arcade. All the arcades are named after mini games from the game War of the Monsters.
Oh.
Which is a ridiculous detail that only I would care about.
That's right. It was the guys that single track were before they became single track. Or was it 343?
After they became single track.
Right.
Yeah, it was Incognito.
Yeah, it was that and Black were their first 2 games. They came out
I think so.
roughly
That sounds
about.
right.
They
Also,
came out roughly the same
Small
time.
Brawl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the first 2 PS2 games at least.
What I didn't do while I was over in the movie theater was look at all the movie posters that are all over the walls. I'm definitely going to have to go back and do that, because there must have been some good jokes in there, because this game is full of jokes.
I thought you said booby posters, which would actually be very reasonable for this game.
Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, say what you will, these guys, they do like their small touches.
Yeah.
There's
Unironically.
an amazing amount of detail and art assets in this.
I mean, and I'm going to rag on this game a lot, but I have quite a bit of hours into it, because it feels a niche few other games do. I mean, and it's not boring most of the time. Sometimes it's really boring, but
Yeah.
It gets boring because the load times are very bad and it's extremely difficult.
Yeah.
So you'll end up dying and then, going through another load screen.
Yeah, the difficulty makes it unbearable.
Yeah.
wait, Reaper?
Mr. Grimm, yes.
I forgot that they changed his name.
Well, Mr. Grimm's the driver.
Yeah.
The vehicle never had a name.
Yeah, because in previous games it was literally the Reaper, or at least 1 or 2 of them. Not Black, obviously, but
In Twisted Metal 2, it's Mr. Grimm, and no vehicle name, I think? Or did they name the vehicles? They named his vehicle, the Reaper, in 2. I don't...
The vehicle's never been named Reaper specifically,
Exactly, that's what confused me.
so arguably it's either a change or not.
Grimm was my I don't know, what do kids call it? My fab, my bay, I don't know. It's the one I used in Twisted Metal too, a lot.
I would have just said main, but you know, you do you, man.
I don't know, I'm old now, I'm a parent, I have to try to seem cool.
What do the kids say these days?
They say, fuck you, Dad.
I think we just went to a bit of a dark place there.
Yep, I too am a big fan of Mr. Grimm, and Reaper, the vehicle, is really, really good in this game. And also, Mr. Grimm is the least shitty character.
Wow, that's
Not saying much, but
that's a benchmark.
yeah.
The embodiment of death, least shitty character.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's Warthog. Warthog is an annoying asshole, but he's not a particularly strong vehicle. We are never going to play as Warthog because to unlock him, you have to get gold medals on every single level on Twisted difficulty.
Nope.
No console sheets?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
I mean, Game Shark or similar stuff.
Yeah.
Isn't like Warthog special? I vaguely remember, like if you manage to hit the red square underneath, then you can just practically one-shot him when he's doing it.
Yeah, done something like that. That might be an actual mechanic. I'll have to do more research on that.
Yeah.
Seems right.
Because I was never sure if, like, anytime I was fighting him, if he just had incredibly weak armor or I was just getting insanely lucky every time.
He has like one of the strongest armors.
Yeah, he's always doing that ridiculous wheelie, and it's terrible.
It's like, what does it even do? Because I think it's supposed to, like, shred your car from above, but it just looks like he's trying to ramp you.
What he does is he slams down and makes a shockwave. That's the attack.
Right, so complete garbage then. Gotcha.
It's like a mix of a Grasshopper and the monster truck from Twisted Metal 2.
Right. So complete garbage then.
Yeah, two of the worst specials in that game.
So this whole single-player mode that we're playing here and enjoying so much was never meant to be part of the game. When they designed Twisted Metal, the remake, they wanted it to be an online-only multiplayer exclusive game. Because a few years before, they had done exactly that with the Warhawk franchise.
They tried to do it with Twisted Metal Black as well, didn't they? They released cut down...
Well, they did release a version.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did release a version that was that.
Because I remember...
But for this, they wanted it to be the only version. No story mode at all.
Because I remember seeing adverts for the online adapter for the PS2. It's like, now with a special version of Twisted Metal Black. Making it, and like the servers went off for it after about 12 days.
Yeah, that was just like a cool bonus disc. This was supposed to be the entire game. And speaking of servers going offline, the online servers for Twisted Metal Remake are also offline.
Yeah.
As of last year.
And nobody noticed.
Basically, yeah. Because the multiplayer, for being the only thing they actually intended to design, is really bad. It's terribly imbalanced.
What are the odds?
Yeah, because the vehicles are absurdly imbalanced. Sweet Tooth is phenomenal. I just did the entire level as nothing but Sweet Tooth. And I could do every level in this game as nothing but Sweet Tooth.
Yeah, it didn't even need much in the way of healing.
That's the thing. Health values are wildly varying. So, like, Sweet Tooth is virtually unkillable. Kamikaze can be one-shot by certain attacks.
Is Kamikaze... has he ever been in, like, 3 or 4? Because I don't recognize that vehicle at all.
Yeah, he's a brand new invention for this game.
Okay.
Black Rock Stadium. I have to tell you, and this is just between you and I designed this arena to bring about the greatest loss of life in the shortest amount of time. It's like a slaughterhouse, but for people. I'm actually quite proud of it. Now, if you want to survive, beware the traps. And beware of the dangers. And be ready for the layout to change lickety-split. I love that term. Now, Sweet Tooth, there is a garage here if you get low on health. But know there are other ways to stay alive in Blackrock. Destroy all enemies, Sweet Tooth. It's the only way for you to win.
The crowd in that stadium there, I didn't get a chance to go over and look at them. They are all 2D sprites.
2D sprites were used quite a lot in the NHL hockey games, even on the PS3. They had a
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, they had a huge, as a selling point for one of their yearly updates that, oh, look, we now have individual crowd members, and yeah, that was like their biggest selling point that year. I stopped playing. I bought a PS3 only to be able to play NHL games because they don't come out for PC because of piracy. It's their excuse. Their really excuse is that hockey is played in like 8 nations.
I'm sure it lags the bejesus out of the game to have 3D models up there, but just put the crowds far enough back that you don't see that they're 2D.
Yeah.
Because you can put yourself right up against the edge and you'll see it.
Was Peter Molyneux or a Peter Molyneux parody account that said his dream was you get to kill someone in a Battlefield game and you see his son crying in the crowd of a FIFA game. And I was like, I genuinely can't remember if that was a parody or not, because it's exactly the sort of crazy-ass bullshit he would say anyway.
Yep, hard to tell with that guy.
How they should handle crowds is like how they do in the older Total War games, where if you zoomed out, they turned into sprites instead of the 3D models.
Oh yeah, that would probably work.
Yeah, or just have like one really big guy in the middle of the audience giving you a thumbs up. Hey!
Yeah, or just one row of 3D models. Or your solution, one fat guy holding a hot dog. That'd be great. Make that the whole crowd. Why not?
I think they could really, really learn to court the fat guy holding a hot dog audience. It's niche, but they need love.
Yeah, regarding the huge vehicles, it's really stupid with Axel, but you can also notice it on, any other as well, because the size of the people. Axel is bigger than, like, a truck. I mean, the character driving Axel.
Yeah, that was true of his introduction at Twisted Metal 2 as well. He was like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, it's not so bad in stages like this, but when you go back to the previous one, it's kind of, oh, that's a bit sad.
Yep, and now we're Axel. Because you can just do that.
After like a 20-second load.
Yep.
Yeah, Axel must be Axel must be real pissed that I had to cut off my hands and feet to drive this one, and suddenly it's just a commute car.
This asshole just wearing my car like it's a kind of pajamas. The fuck, man.
Also, Axel was not originally in the release of the game. He was a pre-order bonus that they added.
That's why I don't recognize him in this game. Have I forgotten he was in this one? But no, okay, that explains it. Because I did not pre-order.
Yep, they eventually updated it so that all versions would have Axel.
I probably stopped playing by then.
Most people did.
I didn't get a PS3 up until about 2012, 13. So by the time I played this, like, the entire thing was dead.
I bought a PS3 to LP this game about 3 years ago. Then I played it, and I did not touch it again. I actually got stuck immediately after this level. Because these first 2 levels are really easy. The next one is virtually impossible.
Is next one the race?
No, not yet, but
okay.
It's the one with the cages.
Oh.
We'll see it soon. Yeah.
I bought a PS3 for this game. 10 minutes later, oh no, I've made a huge mistake.
Yep, 100%. I really did not want to LP this game, and it was actually your idea, Rick. You made this happen.
Thing is, I don't have memories of this one. I got flashbacks.
I think the PTSD would have been a bit of a giveaway, but hey.
This thing here that goes up and down, it's got that little tunnel in it. Do not go through that tunnel like I'm doing, because the enemies will try to make it sink back into the ground. You'll get stuck in there, and then you'll be constantly electrocuted until you die.
So I just noticed, but how, like, watch his tires when he's doing turns. They wobble.
Yep.
Like, I never noticed that before. What the fuck?
They also look flat. I mean, it's realistic because tires this size would have a very wide, like,
Tread.
contact, yeah. But it looks like they're flat. Axle just does not look very good. It's very detailed, but it doesn't look very good.
Yeah, it's
Not very artistically pleasing.
It's a shame as well because I remember the marketing blitz for this was like amazing. There was like, didn't they have the thing where you could shoot a car? You got control of like a literal like minigun. If you went on their website, they had like a big van. I swear I'm not making this up. They had a big van. And if you went onto their website, you were put in a queue, and you could fire rounds from a rifle at this car. And by the end of it, it was just like shreds.
Okay, that sounds really cool. But
It was genuinely very fun if you were one of the first like 10,000 or so, because after that you were just like firing bullets into metal.
Yep, this was a pretty hyped up release, especially because they announced it in the 2008 release of Twisted Metal Head-On, and it eventually came out in 2012.
fun fact, before your Let's Play, I had actually never heard of Head-On.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird niche game.
Yeah, but I was kind of a super fan of the second one, so I think I would, stumble upon it sometime, but no.
I don't think it got a European release, which might have been why.
That could explain quite a bit.
Because I do not remember seeing it or the PSP one in the shops.
I know it wasn't popular in America because it was stuck on a doomed console, and then the port came out after the PS3 had been released like 3 years previous, so
Yeah.
no one wanted a PS2 game anymore.
Yeah, I mean, after Nintendo 64, I played Perfect Dark professionally in that. After that, I stopped with console gaming until I wanted to play some hockey games. So then I bought a PS3, and nowadays we use our PS3 for Netflix.
Yep.
I haven't bought a console since.
Now I'm waiting on the PS5 because it might have backwards compatibility with every single console thus far. So that's like sold.
Supposedly, yeah.
If that's true, I'm just like, fuck yeah, give me that. Because I've still got about 120 odd PS3, PS2 games alone.
One enemy remains.
And we're wrapping up our time in the Colosseum. We will never return to this level. No future levels take place in this area. Thankfully.
Yeah, because, I mean, when you can't ever get an oversight by just driving through, then you know it's a bad Twisted Metal map. I mean, take Paris, for example, in Twisted Metal 2. I mean, yeah, it's chaos. A bunch of, small areas as well, but you always, had an oversight. If you stumble around, crashed, and looked into a wall, you could still, okay, yeah, I'm here. If you pass here, you're doomed.
This level's a mess. Very difficult to play. Although it's a really easy level, you just don't have to understand what's going on, and that's good because you never will. So don't even try. And completing it, you unlock Reaper, which is a very, very broken vehicle on par with Sweet Tooth. We'll be seeing it next time. It's also a very fun vehicle.
One of the best specials.
It always is.
Oh god, yes.
At least from a visual perspective.
I'm looking forward to showing that off. I did something obscene with the special in the next video. It's already recorded, and we'll go check that out next time.